and we're going to stick right along with the quarterback talk here and go into the next topic, which is giving our grades, because we all know finals is around the corner for the college students. So we're going to give our grades on how we thought Taysom Hill performed in his first start in the 24-9 win against the Falcons yesterday. Leo?
Yeah, when I look at Taysom Hill, I guess I'm going to give the brother a B minus. I'm gonna give him a solid B minus. I thought that I remember Zach. I know you said a couple days ago, you don't understand what when you look at Sean Payton, what's his fascination with Taysom Hill, a guy that we only seen for a couple plays in and out, and that's by we don't have a lot of tape on Taysom Hill. And when we look at college, it wasn't so great. So what is Sean Payton's fascination with Taysom Hill? Why is he starting over an experienced veteran in Jameis Winston who threw for 5,000 yards? And when I look at Taysom Hill yesterday, I can understand what Sean Payton's fascination is with Taysom Hill. It's because with Taysom Hill, you can do a whole lot that you couldn't do with Drew Brees. As far as throwing the football down the field, a lot of wildcat formations, he gives you the flexibility to change up and give different looks against different teams and different personnel. Whereas Drew Brees, you knew he was going to get the ball out very quick. When you talk about next-gen stats here, the Saints going into the game attempted the third fewest play-action attempts in the league, using it on just 5.7% of passes. When you talk about Hill's performance yesterday, there was a lot of throws from the play-action, and I was shocked that they did a lot of play-action passes instead of wildcat formations, which I expected. When you also think about the difference between Drew Brees and a Taysom Hill, Brees has a 4.9 in intended air yards per pass, ranked the lowest in the league. Hill averaged 6.5 intended air yards per attempt yesterday. Mike Thomas got going yesterday. Emmanuel Sanders, hello, I forgot he was on the Saints because we didn't see him do too much with Drew Brees. He balled out yesterday, but obviously with praise always comes criticism. I thought that Taysom Hill throwing the football down the field, he didn't have a lot of juice on those deep passes. I saw Emmanuel Sanders had to cut back 3 extra yards, to adjust and catch the deep ball twice on a couple plays down the field. So yeah, even though there's room for optimism, I still think Taysom Hill fumbling the football, he could do a little bit better. But since it was his first game, I'm going to give the brother a B minus.
I'm going to give him a B just because of the fact that, number one, Jameis Winston is only there for 1 year, and he's going to try and bank on trying to become another, trying to get another deal with another team. So with that said, Sean Payton, you alluded to Sean Payton earlier, Leo. I'm thinking that he had the trust to go in there and try and win a football game, number one. And number two, it's the Falcons. Yes, the Falcons have this great pass offense, but their defense isn't that great, I feel. And number three, with everything going on there, it's the Falcons are crying out right now. They've been playing terrible. So for Taysom Hill to get his feet wet in his first NFL career start, you got to give him a lot of credit there. Leo, you mentioned some great points, but realistically, he didn't play that badly in his first game. I'm going to give him a B.
Yeah, I think for me, I would say a B as well. I think for me, Lil, when you mentioned that you've kind of figured out what exactly Sean Payton and his fascination with Taysom Hill is, I feel like I may have found it out also, and it's going to be something a little different. I think Sean Payton right now, when he looks at this Saints team, he feels pretty confident about where they stand, especially after yesterday's win in the division. And I feel like Sean Payton's going to say to himself, okay, even though long-term Jameis Winston could be the solution at quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, short-term Taysom Hill, I think, gives the Saints the best chance to win the next 4 games until Drew Brees comes back. Because I feel like with the offense that the Saints were able to run yesterday, no one had any tape on Taysom Hill and what exactly he was going to be doing. And I feel like in the NFL, a lot of times, it's the element of surprise that wins you games. We saw people winning games from the Wildcat offense. I feel like when we see that element of surprise could really, change what other teams think. And with that being said, I feel like Taysom Hill gives the Saints a really good chance to win their next couple games just because teams have no idea what to expect. Plus, the Saints defense looked the best they looked in a really long time yesterday. As Will said, the Falcons have a really good passing offense, which was shut down. And I feel like I was really impressed with what they were able to do on the defensive side of the ball. So Sean Payton says, all right, kind of how the Dolphins were putting Tua in that position to be a game manager in Miami, right? Kind of how we just spoke about with Phillip Rivers. Don't turn the ball over. Just don't make mistakes. Rely on the defense. Rely on the great weapons we have. It takes wear and tear off Alvin Kamara when Taysom Hill is running the ball. So I kind of see now where Sean Payton's coming from. I like the decision and I like the performances.
Yeah, I'm going to be right in agreement with all three of you fellas. I think Taysom Hill, to me, definitely earned a solid B grade because he did what the Saints needed him to do, and that was be a game manager that didn't turn the ball over, and that's exactly what he did. The 2 rushing touchdowns, to me, just added to the unpredictability of the Saints offense. They even put him out at that outside wide receiver slot a couple times and didn't pass to him, but there was always the threat of him there. And I think that's what made the Saints unstoppable yesterday, in a sense that they were unpredictable. Defense, 8-sack performance, two picks on the day. When they play like that, there's not much that Taysom Hill had to do, and he had a solid performance overall, even passing the football. So I'm going to agree with Zach. I could see them rocking with him till Breeze comes back, just because he brings that unpredictability factor to the offense.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it would be Taysom Hill gives the Saints the best chance to win short term, while Jameis could give them the better chance to win long term.
I mean, I will also say this too. A lot of people say, well, Jameis Winston has more experience, but I can kind of argue and say Taysom Hill has more experience with the Saints in the system. So he's familiar with Sean Payton and the way how Sean Payton likes to use him. So once again, back to the fascination with Taysom Hill. We have to realize that, Drew Brees and Sean Payton has been coach quarterback duo for over 2 decades now. Basically over 2 decades, almost, basically you could say. So there is a fascination on, all right, what could I do now Drew Brees is out with somebody that is, mobile and can throw a little bit, So it's that fascination in a new era of football where you don't have to be a drop back passing down the field quarterback. You can actually win in Wildcat and win some games. I think that was part of the fascination and why Sean Payton was like, you know what, let me test this out and let me play with stuff, because let's be real here. Sean Payton is an offensive guru. He's an offensive guru, one of the best offensive minds in football. So now I got this weapon here. I can play around a little bit. And I think that what it came down to. It's an experiment. Let's see what we can do with Taysom Hill as our starter while Drew Brees is out.
That's a good point, too, because basically all they had to do was because Hill was used to every other aspect of him being in that offense besides consistently throwing the football. So all they really asked him to do was throw the football, and he did so effectively. He played quarterback in college. He's been with this team for 4 years. So I think it was overall a solid performance, and yeah, I mean, they didn't really ask him to do that much. He was a game manager, so it really was a solid fit.
He had a couple nice throws too.
Yeah.
There was a couple throws that he had to Michael Thomas where there was a lot of zip on the passes. The only reason why I gave him a B- is because I'm a little bit of a hard grader. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bit of a hard grader. Like I said, there was a couple throws that was a little bit iffy and he had to fumble. That's why I gave him the B-, but I'm still impressed by how he looked in his first game.
And you know what, Leo? Let me just say something about the huddle really quick. When you in a huddle, usually it's just the quarterback, one player calling the plays. We got multiple quarterbacks in this huddle, and we calling all sorts of different plays.
Exactly.